What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tino here. A little messed up, but that's okay. And we are here today, guys, for an emergency episode podcast. As there's a lot of things going on today, a lot of people lost their jobs, a lot of things going on with Raw and SmackDown, changing networks and everything. So, we're here today, guys, to talk about it all, everything that's going on with the releases, SmackDown off Fox, possibly going back to the WWE network, the CEA or the CES is apparently reporting that Vince McMahon is going to be gone from WWE. So there's just a lot to talk about. So yes, and at 5 p.m. there will be NXT releases. So we will be live for the Southside Boys episode at 5 o'clock. But if there is any big names that get released, we will be doing another extra episode type like this. But we'll just have to see who it is and everything like that. So, but today, right now, we're just going to talk about everything that we know, everything that we possibly could be seeing happen, and everything else like that. This shirt, I don't know what's wrong with this shirt, guys. It's just not, I thought it'd be a good idea to wear the Burn It Down shirt because it seems like WWE is getting burnt down little by little. But let's get into it and let's talk about first, before we get into all of the releases, let's talk about what is going to be going on. And I want to put it up there so you guys can read it, and I'm going to read it myself. So it says SmackDown. This is about SmackDown being off of the USA Network and having agreed to a 5-year agreement with NBC Universal, NBCU, to make their primetime debut with the launch of 4 network specials. So I'm going to read this to you guys. I'm going to take Jadis's comment off because I can't see it. Jadis, I got to get your comment off. But let's get into this and let's read about everything that they are saying. It says WWE, part of the TKO Group Holdings, Inc., the new TKO, everything like that, and NBCU have agreed to a 5-year deal media rights partnership that will be bringing Friday Night SmackDown back to the USA Network starting next October 2024. Additionally, we'll be bringing, and beginning in 2024-2025, we will be producing 4 primetime specials that will air on NBC, making the first time WWE will air on the WWE Network in primetime. So that pretty much means like we're going to have it on NBC. And if you guys don't remember, back in the day, we used to have a show called Saturday Night Main Event. So it looks like we may be having Saturday Night Main Event back. And it looks like Saturday Night Main Event is going to be a thing that we're going to be having to do and we're going to be having to talk about. So, yeah, we also have SmackDown will be exclusively to NBCU. So if everybody understands, that just means like if like they say like Roman Reigns is exclusive to SmackDown, it pretty much means SmackDown is exclusive to NBCU. As one of the television longest running programmings, regularly rated as number 1 in the 18 to 49 advertisement demographic on Friday nights, and featuring many superstars like John Cena, Roman Reigns, Bianca, Charlotte Flair. We just saw Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Rey Mysterio. The list could go on and on and on. The Bloodline, I mean, there's so many great names. And then, obviously, NBC has been a tremendous partner of WWE for decades. Said WWE President Nick Khan, we are excited to extend this long-standing relationship for bringing SmackDown to the USA on Friday nights and look forward to debuting multiple WWE special events annually on the NBC. So as I said, Saturday Night Main Event, maybe we'll get like a Friday Night SmackDown on NBC. Maybe we'll get a Monday Night Raw, a special like 2-hour Monday Night Raw on NBC, everything like that. He also says, it's a privilege and a thrill to continue the NBCU decade-long partnership with WWE, which has helped cement the USA Network consistent position as the top-rated cable entertainment network in the live viewership, said Francis Berwick, chairman of the NBCU. With Friday nights on USA primetime specials on NBC and the WWE Hub on Peacock, we'll continue to use our portfolio to super serve the passionate fan base. So as I talked about in the last episode, we talked about, remember guys, about the pay-per-views, and we talked about it on the WWE Endeavor about how possibly the pay-per-views could be possibly going to $69.99 and everything like that. But as I said, remember that Peacock's media rights deal has a little bit longer and everything else like that. So it's really nothing that we have to worry about, at least until after WrestleMania 41. So that's just something I just wanted to remind you guys because we talked a little bit about it on the last episode. Also, as a part of the WWE NBC long-standing relationship, USA is currently home to NXT and Monday Night Raw, which is the number 2 entertainment programming in 2023. And it is NXT has plus 27%. Monday Night Raw is 15%, which just means like over the years, the people watching it, plus 27% means 27% more people are watching. Raw has a 15% uptick from 2020. What was it, 2022 to 2023? I'm assuming that's what that means. And over the years, in the target demographic, Monday Night Raw and NXT will continue to air on the USA Network until September 2024. So until September 2024, which as it states in the top of the thing, SmackDown will be exclusive starting in October of 2024. So we possibly could be seeing different things go down. And I was just listening to JD's podcast. Shout out to JD from New York. He was talking about, different types of things, and they were just talking about how possibly Monday Night Raw could leave Monday nights. I don't know how I feel about Raw leaving Monday nights, but what I do feel and what I do like is that I do believe that it would be very good and very good to see like different types of things. I do not personally think that Monday Night Raw should leave, but if it does, I mean, we just have to wait and see what happens. But I think it would be weird to watch Raw not on Monday nights. So you guys let me know about that. We got 8 people in the house right now. After we get through all this information, guys, I will definitely get to all of your comments, your concerns. We'll also be talking about the releases and everything like that. So let me know what you guys are feeling. We now have 11 people in the house. So what's up, guys? How we all doing? I appreciate everybody stopping by for a little bit. But in addition to, since 2021, Peacock has been the exclusive home of the WWE Network in the US, where Peacock subscribers can stream through thousands of hours like I do, watch all the old pay-per-views. You better not be getting rid of our retro pay-per-views, guys. They also say we have the premium live events, WrestleMania, etc., etc. WWE continues to drive high engagement on the platform, with this WrestleMania 39 live stream delivering a record-breaking weekend for Peacock as its highest viewed basis. So we're still going to have, as I said earlier on the last episode and everything like that, and we've talked about it, how, everything is going to be changing possibly about the pay-per-views and possibly having to pay $69.99 and everything else like that. But honestly, we don't have to worry about that right now, and we just have to see how this plays out and see what this means. But all we do know for official is that we are getting Saturday night main events. We are getting new specials on NBCU. SmackDown, Raw, and NXT will all be on the USA Network starting in October of 2024. There's a lot of different things that's going to be going down, and I feel like that eventually, and I'm sure you guys have heard that from different podcasters you guys have listened to today, because I know my episode's a little late, but we had to work and everything, all that fun stuff. But I feel like, eventually it's all going to be together. It's all going to be at NBCU, and they're all just going to be a part, and it's all going to be part of the same group. So I know that may be confusing for some of you guys and everything else like that, but again, we talked about it with the TV deal, with the money. It's all about the money with these guys and everything else like that. So I just wanted to mention that because I'm sure we're going to get a lot of questions about this and that and everything else like that, So, yeah. But I also want to mention, and I also want to talk about before we get into the releases, because there are a lot of releases and some are very sad. And I already see some of you guys saying that you guys hate today and everything else like that. But, it is what it is. So the last thing we got to talk about with SmackDown and everything else like that, shout out to WrestleOps for this information. He says, and it is reported, that the Wall Street Journal report that people familiar with the WWE deal with the USA for SmackDown valued it at roughly $1.4 billion, which is about a 40% increase of the deal with Fox. So that means SmackDown got a $1.4 billion offer from, guys, who's saying no to that? Also, we have via the Hollywood Reporter with the new deal bringing WWE to NBC primetime and SmackDown to the USA on Friday nights. It will also mean the end of Raw and NXT on the USA Network, as I said in that statement right there, September 2024. So I kind of want to backtrack on what I said, because we could possibly be seeing SmackDown and NXT move, and we could possibly just see SmackDown be on USA. And it says in this that apparently from the Hollywood Reporter that it means that NXT and Raw are done with the USA Network. So it also is stating that Sports Business Journalism, however, reports that NBCU is considered a frontrunner to review its new Raw deal. And there's also a few interests from Disney, Amazon, etc., as we talked about in the other podcast. So, as I said, we possibly could be seeing SmackDown on the USA Network. We could be seeing Raw and NXT on different Amazon, ESPN. ESPN Plus, I think, would be the perfect place for them to get like the pay-per-views, because they have like the UFC, they have like the game, they have all the college games, they have all those games that we watch, and they have the ESPN Plus subscription. So I think having WWE possibly on ESPN Plus is a possibility. I'm also still waiting for AEW to figure out something, but again, that's just a different podcast and something else that we could talk about on a different episode. So yeah, I just want to say that, it's a lot. I understand all that, guys, but it is what it is, and we'll just have to see what will be going down in October, September of 2024. But on some good news, because we still have some bad news and everything, but I want to get to a little good news, because WWE did officially return. They officially announced that in 2024, September 24th, 2024, the Elimination Chamber is heading to Australia. So, if you live in Australia, go to the Elimination Chamber and have yourself a good old time, because at least that's some positive news. But the Elimination Chamber is coming to Australia. Guys, I don't know what's wrong with this shirt. I think it's all wrinkled or something. But yeah, it's not a good time. But anyway, that is some good news. But let's talk about the bad news and what mostly this episode is going to be about. And it's about all of the unfortunate the unfortunate releases of many superstars, 9 to be exact as of right now. And as Jade has said in the chat, there are supposed to be, shout out to Wrestling News again, shout out to Wrestling News, there is going to be NXT releases expected by later today at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So as I said, we will be here live for the Southside Boys at 5 o'clock. But if there is any big names, and I honestly, before we get into the people that have been released, I want to let you guys know, Bron Breakker, Carmelo Hayes, Tiffany Stratton, these people are not going to be released because they still need a brand to build around. And like I said, I'm sure you've heard this in a lot of other people's podcasts, but if you have not, I'm going to tell you. So I do not believe that we're going to be seeing names like that. I'm sure it might be some of the NIL superstars. Maybe it's Gable Stevenson, because we've heard and we've talked and that we've heard like comments about Gable Stevenson and everything else like that. So we could possibly be seeing like guys like that, but I don't expect any big names, and everybody like Cora Jade, don't expect, nothing like that. And if it does, I'm going to be very shocked, because I do not expect any of those names to be released at all. So I think that you should just relax about it. I think that, it will not be that big of a deal, and it won't be those big names at all. I can promise you that. But what I will say is that the superstars that, like I said, I do believe that we'll see different types of superstars be released. But as I've stated in recent shows and recent podcasts and everything, they're bringing in superstars like Jade Cargill. There's bringing in superstars, they're bringing in other superstars that this was eventually going to happen, that we were going to see these people be released and we were going to see them not get to where, it sucks. And it definitely, it's one of those things that just happens. It's a business. That's what happens in a business, guys. It sucks. It's awful. But it is what it is. And as I say all the time, if these guys can go out to different companies as AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, the Indies, New Japan, if they want to go and do that, I mean, imagine like a match like Dolph Ziggler versus Okada, or imagine like Dolph Ziggler taking on Tashinashi. I can't speak. But yeah, so I think that having superstars like that go out to different companies is going to be very good. So I mentioned Dolph Ziggler. So we'll have to see what happens with these NXT superstars, but keep an eye out for who it will be and everything else like that. But just don't expect any huge names. And as I said, if there is any big names, we will come here. We'll talk about it just like we are now. But now let's get to what all of this is about today. Let's get to all of the releases that have been announced and that have been official as of today. And these are the confirmed names of the WWE releases. So we're going to go from top to bottom, and we are going to talk about a little bit about each one. So let's talk about, we have Top Dollar, we have Aaliyah, we have Rick Boogs, we have Mustafa Ali, we have Emma, Elias, and probably the two biggest names that I did not expect to ever see released again from the WWE. It's Shelton Benjamin, and it's the show stealer, Dolph Ziggler. So, obviously, Dolph Ziggler is the big name on this list, and this is all I've seen as of now. So if Chris or anybody has seen any other names officially released, let me know. Well, let's talk about these 9. And I do see the chat is exploding. So I appreciate all of you guys coming here, hanging out. Make sure you guys continue to leave all your comments. We'll get to all of them before we go here today. But let's talk about these superstars. And let's talk about each one. So we'll start from the bottom. Because Top Dollar, AJ Francis, I remember seeing AJ pretty much. I think that we've seen AJ. I think the first time we saw AJ get his start was on WWE Most Wanted Treasures, and then he was obviously in Hit Row, and Hit Row was a huge hit with Swerve Strickland. They were a huge hit in NXT, and then we saw them get released, and then they came back, and then, it just has not went exactly how they wanted to. And as of right now, Ashante Adonis and B-Fab are still with the company as I speak right now. So something could have changed right now. But as of this speaking, I think B-Fab and Adonis are still employed. So Top Dollar, I think that, if you guys remember, he did play football and everything else like that. So I think Top Dollar, AJ Francis, can go out and possibly be a color commentator if he doesn't want to wrestle. But if he wants to wrestle, I mean, I'd love to see him go somewhere like Impact or the Indies or everything else like that. I don't see him going to AEW or anything else like that, but possibly. Again, we'll just have to see what happens. But seeing these guys possibly being able to go somewhere else will be a great thing, because these people will get the opportunities that they may not have gotten just sitting in catering. So, Top Dollar, you're going to be missed, but I'm sure they left off on good terms. He did get fired and he did come back. So maybe he will come back as something else if he doesn't want to wrestle anymore. But this was bound to happen with the Endeavor. They were going to get rid of superstars because, as I said earlier, they're bringing people, possibly Cristiano Ronaldo or whatever his name is, Cristiano Ronaldo. They're trying to bring in they brought in Jade Cargill. They're trying to bring in different people. So it sucks to lose these people, but you got to think possibly Aaliyah. Like, again, I'm not comparing anybody to anybody, but I'm just saying, you bring in Jade Cargill, you get rid of Aaliyah, somebody that isn't really being used. And I like Aaliyah, But again, if we're not going to see her on TV, what's the point of having her be with the company? So why not? Let's see her go to possibly a different company. Let's see her possibly go to Impact. Maybe she goes to AEW. Maybe it's one of those things. We'll just have to see what happens. So, Top Dollar, you will be missed, my guy, but we'll have to see what happens. Now let's talk about Aaliyah. Because Aaliyah, as I said, it is what it is. We really can't do much about it. Aaliyah is gone. And, again, it is what it is. But Aaliyah is one of those. She did have a very good run. I really started liking her, and she had the Aaliyah 317, I think it was, or the 318, I think it was. Wasn't it like the 317 or 18? She was trying to be like the Austin 316. Maybe it was 316. I forgot. But Aaliyah, I really liked her. And then she had the random tag team title reign. I think it was with Raquel Rodriguez. And, she just really never got to being used to where she was going to be a top star and she was never going to really get over. So she's another one, as I just mentioned with her. She could possibly be going somewhere else again if she wants to wrestle. And that's maybe what some of these people want to do. Maybe like Elias wants to focus on his music because we see Elias on the list. We see Rick Boogs on the list. We see, you know what I mean? Maybe these people have other things that they want to focus on. So Aaliyah, I wish her the best. And it's going to be very interesting to see where she goes. But, we're seeing Jade Cargill come in. So you guys got to just try to think on the positive with it. And as long as these people are happy, because again, we got to think these people are just human beings. They're losing their jobs today. So this is not a podcast I really like to do, but it's information that you guys need to know. And I enjoy talking about information, no matter good or bad, because, we just got to talk about it. And it makes me feel better because seeing some of these superstars on this list, it's just going to suck not being able to see them in WWE after pretty much growing up my whole entire life watching them in the company. So, Aaliyah, we'll have to see where she goes. Now, let's talk about Rick Boogs, because we have Rick Boogs on the list. And, Rick Boogs, he was doing his thing, and he was the guitarist for Shinsuke, and then he got hurt at WrestleMania, and it just was not a good time for Rick Boogs. So, Rick Boogs, I think, possibly he wants to focus on his music career. And it seemed like he started to get over. And it seemed like he started to really get get to the point where he was possibly going to be used in a certain way. But he never really got to that point. Maybe they should have done something with Elias, but they did not do anything with Elias. So it sucks. It is one of those things, but we'll just have to see. And before we get to obviously the big name you guys see there, I want to talk about Elias, because Elias was one of those guys that I really, really thought was possibly going to be over. I thought Elias was going to go over there and do his thing. I thought Elias was going to be great. I thought Elias was going to turn into an absolute superstar and an absolute great person, human being, and just everything. Like, I just thought Elias would just be a superstar. But we never really saw that happen. We saw him kind of do his thing a little bit better, and he got over a lot with Ezekiel and that whole weird storyline where they were playing double and he was saying that his brother, and it was just so entertaining, and him and Kevin Owens having all that stuff that they did together was so fantastic. It was just it was so great. So it sucks to see Elias go. But again, maybe Elias wants to do something else, and that's Elias's business. That's none of our business, So, Elias, we'll miss you. But again, we'll just have to see what happens, because again, it's awful. But look at people like Mike Cardona that left the business, that made a name for himself, and now he very well might come back to the company as one of the best names to ever bring. The transformation that this man made is absolutely incredible. So, I'm just saying, maybe it is a good thing. So, let's talk about the big three names that have been released, because we talked about Top Dollar, Aaliyah, Rick Boogs. We talked about Elias. And I'm sorry, four names that we have not talked about yet. And I feel like I'm missing one because I feel like there was nine. So I think I'm missing one. Well, no, Dolph Ziggler's on this list. Okay. So I will figure that out. But let's talk about Emma. Because Emma, she, we saw her do her weird little thing. She was doing whatever she was doing with Santino. And she was, I don't know what she was going down and what she was doing. And then we saw her go and she got released. And she went out and she made a name for himself, made a name for herself as Tennille Dashwood. And she did what she had to do. And we saw her come back, and then we saw her, she really, I mean, it seemed like she started to kind of get going somewhere, and then it just completely like went off the rail. So I don't know exactly what happened and what exactly, is going to happen with Emma, but it sucks really, honestly, so bad because I really saw, and we saw her tweet about how the Elimination Chamber was finally going to be in her hometown, how she was going to be able to perform there. And then literally a half an hour later, she got released. So it's one of those things that just absolutely is brutal. And you really don't like to see it because it's just so sad because you know how hard these people work and you know how hard these people go out there and they want to be out there and they want to perform for everybody on the show. So, Emma, should be very interesting to see, but she is one name that possibly she goes to AEW, possibly she goes to Impact, maybe she goes to Ring of Honor, and I know AEW and Ring of Honor are pretty much the same thing, but I mean, Emma, I think she'll find a home if it's Tennille Dashwood, if it's Emma, if it's a different name. Emma, you're gonna be missed, and honestly, all these people are gonna be missed because you never want to see anybody lose their job, and you never want to see anybody just go down and have awful news be broken like this. So let's talk about the man that was not on this list, and I figured out who it was. And it's actually Emma's fiance. It is Madcap Moss. It is Riddick Moss. So Riddick Moss is also released, and it sucks because Tennille and Madcap, Riddick, Emma, they literally just got engaged. And I don't know if you guys saw, but it looks like Riddick Moss found out on Twitter. He goes, my phone didn't ring, or he goes, I didn't answer the phone. So I don't know exactly what happened with all of that, but I mean, I just think that, it's not good, but it's like I said earlier, it's a business to where these things are going to happen, and it sucks because it's awful. It's again, like I said, you never want to have anybody lose their job. You never want to see anybody have to go through what these people are having to go through right now. So all we can do is wish them the best. But Riddick Moss never really, he had an opportunity to get over. He started to get over, and then he just disappeared from TV. So, Riddick Moss, Emma, hopefully they find themselves a way to possibly, if they want to take a break, maybe they don't want to wrestle, whatever it may be. Riddick Moss and Emma, hopefully they can find somewhere to go and everything like that. But Riddick Moss might very well go to the independents and find himself getting over in different ways. So I could definitely see Riddick Moss going over to the Indies. Now, let's talk about Mustafa Ali, because I'm saving the other two for last because those two mean more. I love Ali, but this one just doesn't make sense to me because Mustafa Ali was just about to beat Dominic Mysterio at No Mercy for the NXT North American title. We saw Mustafa on TV on Tuesday. He was talking about how is it fair the Dragon League is a title shot and everything like that. And we have obviously seen in the past that Mustafa and WWE have been on different types of terms and everything else like that. And they really, they didn't want to be, and they didn't want to work together. But I really thought they figured that out. And I really thought that they were kind of working together in a way that they could all be satisfied. Mustafa was happy, WWE was happy, and everything else like that. But obviously, he got released. We'll have to see what happens with the match at No Mercy. But maybe that makes what makes sense on the why they're having the Dragon Lee versus Mustafa match on, or I'm sorry, the Dragon Lee versus Dominic match on Monday Night Raw, because maybe he loses it and then Dragon Lee takes it over to Tuesdays and then they have something else go down. I don't know. It should be very interesting, but I think that was the biggest shocker to me at the time when this one was released, because I was like, well, this man's in a pay-per-view match or PLE match. Why is he getting released? But as I said, they've had, and he's wanted to be out of his contract in the past. So maybe they finally just said, here you go. And the Endeavor was like, yeah. So it sucks to see Mustafa go, but Mustafa could go to AEW. Mustafa could go to Ring of Honor. He could go to the Indies. He could go anywhere he wants if he wants to wrestle. And I'm sure he does. And we've seen what Ali can bring to a character that he is given the right and the opportunity to go out there and do what he wants to do. So Mustafa Ali, I think we could see him in a different company, whatever way we see him in. But Mustafa Ali, it sucks to see him go. And I really, really thought it was going to be his time right now in WWE. But they always say everything happens for a reason. So maybe this happened for a reason. And maybe, just maybe, maybe we will see it. The real Mustafa Ali come out in a different company. Now, let's talk about these last two guys, because I'm going to try not to cry. And I say it all the time. It sucks to see these people go, and I've said it throughout this whole episode. But seeing these two men go is just hitting a shatter to my childhood and a stab into the back, a stab into the chest. And it just really hurts to see these guys really be gone from the company after pretty much being with them my whole life, and I'm sure most of yours. So first, let's talk about Dolph Ziggler. Because Dolph Ziggler, he's been the show stealer. He's been the show killer. He's went out there and put on bangers with The Miz, John Cena. He brought in Big E. He goes out there and he had a Survivor Series match that we'll never forget. He's had intercontinental title runs. He said, and he's given us one of the best memes ever, it should have been me. I mean, Dolph Ziggler has done phenomenal things, and seeing that Dolph Ziggler is really gone from the company is going to be sad. Dolph Ziggler is one of my favorite wrestlers, as I just mentioned, some of my favorite moments and some of his just big moments that he's had. And I always remember when he came out in his first Royal Rumble match, the Royal Rumble 2009, and Kane's in there, and he puts his hand out, and he's like, Kane, shake my hand, man. Kane, shake my hand. And I'm just like, this is not going to end well. And he got thrown out of the Royal Rumble, but we see all these years later that Dolph Ziggler was still with the company. He put on bangers. One of the best Money in the Bank cash-ins of all time until Seth Rollins' WrestleMania cash-in. I mean, Dolph Ziggler has pretty much done it all. Besides, I think, a few things, besides like win a Royal Rumble and main event of WrestleMania. But we've seen him put on show stealing matches. He always knew how to steal the show, and he always just went out there and did everything that he could for us. So, Dolph, thank you for everything. I cannot wait to see where you go. And he's another one. Maybe we'll very well just go back to AEW because his brother's there. Maybe he wants to work with his brother. Or maybe he just doesn't want to wrestle anymore, and maybe he goes and does his comedy stuff he likes to do. Maybe he goes and does something different. But Dolph Ziggler being out of the company is going to be very weird, and it's just going to be it's going to take time getting used to. And I know he wasn't being used on TV as much right now as usual, but still knowing Dolph Ziggler was with the company, and just at any moment or at any time we could see these guys come out there and put on an absolute banger of a match, I think that, it sucks to see these guys go. So, yeah. But, it is what it is. So, now let's talk about, and let's get into the big one for me at least. Because I'm sure Dolph Ziggler to you guys is the big one, and Dolph Ziggler is the guy that, right now you guys are just very emotional about and everything else like that. And I'm sure many of you are also having this type of feeling with this guy. But to me, this is the big one today because since 2006, since 2005, WrestleMania 21, I always tell you guys I really started watching wrestling and getting into it a lot during like the Royal Rumble 2005, 2006 when John Cena and Batista won their first world titles. WrestleMania was in Chicago and everything else like that. And this man, Shelton Benjamin, the gold standard, one of the greatest athletes of all time, has always been there. He's competed at I think he's competed at every WrestleMania Money in the Bank match. He's been in multiple Money in the Bank matches otherwise. He's been in multiple Royal Rumbles. He's a multiple Intercontinental champion. He's a multiple US champion. He is a tag team champion. He was with the Team Angle. He was with Charlie Haas. He went out there and had his mama. He went out there and did everything that he was told. He has great rivalries with Mia Yim. He does all types of great stuff on Up, Up, Down, Down. At least he did. Now he did. Because it looks like he most likely probably won't be a part of Up, Up, Down, Down. But then again, Tyler Breeze is a part of it, and he's not with the company. So maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. But Shelton Benjamin has always been one of my favorite athletes, one of my favorite superstars. He was recently just on a podcast. I think it was the Chris Van Velt CVV. And, it's going to suck seeing Shelton Benjamin go and having seen Shelton not be with the WWE. But, Shelton Benjamin is getting up there in age and, he is still in phenomenal shape. I'm not saying anything about his physique or anything because he's in way better shape than I am. So I'm just saying, maybe WWE is looking for certain age superstars, stuff like that. I mean, honestly, we don't know. Again, this Endeavor deal is still kind of new. So I still also feel like this is like one of their big first moves that they're making to where they're going to go out there and they're going to put out people and they're going to have, and they said it. They said there was going to be releases. And I don't know why anybody didn't believe them because every time they say this, it usually happens. So, Shelton Benjamin, I'm going to miss you. It's going to be sad and I'll see you. But hopefully we see you get a Legends deal. Future Hall of Famer, Dolph Ziggler, future Hall of Famer. And, not many others maybe in the Hall of Fame, but I hope they go out there and they go out and make a name for themselves somewhere else. And who knows? Maybe we see them come back as different superstars. We've seen it happen before with Drew McIntyre. We saw it happen with Cody Rhodes. We've seen it happen with other guys. So this might just be a blessing in disguise. But don't you guys also forget there is the 90-day clause that is still in effect. So the 90-day clause is in effect and we won't be able to see these guys or girls go anywhere. So 3 months from now, maybe they'll show up in different companies. We'll just have to wait and see. But it's a sad day in the WWE. It's a sad day for the WWE universe as 9 people lost their jobs. 9 people are now looking for somewhere else to work. And we never want to guess who is going to be released next. But it's one of those things we'll just have to wait and see. And as I said, if there is anybody being released as we speak, as I'm talking right now, please let me know in the comments so I can talk about it and we can get to the nitty gritty and talk about everything. So let's get to the comments. Let's see how everybody else is feeling and let's just talk about it. And let's just be there for each other, guys. So let's get to the chat. Got to go all the way back up. Chat be blowing up. I appreciate you guys. We got 12 people here in the house right now. Before we do anything, also make sure to hit that like button if you have not yet subscribed. Join the conversation. Ask me a question. I'll give you a shout out or two. All that good stuff. But Jada said, yes, sir. But he also says, sad news. They lost their jobs. But it is what it is. Maybe we'll see them in WWE one day. Again, we could also see them in different companies. How you doing, Missy? Just remember that 5 p.m., yes, 5 p.m., we will be seeing more releases. So if you guys come and hang out during the Southside Boys, let me know if there is any other releases. what shows will be on NBC. So they're going to have Saturday night main event. I don't know. I think they signed 4 of them. So maybe like once every like 2 months or 3 months, or maybe just after, maybe like a Saturday before like the big pay-per-views, like the Royal Rumble, or Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, WrestleMania, something like that. I'm going to miss Aaliyah, Shelton, Emma, and Dolph. AJ says, I'm sad too. Supposedly NXT, yes. Supposedly we will be seeing NXT releases later, like they do the football put. Yes. Yes. So, like, okay, so Jadis, you know how, like, perfect again. This is how I'll explain it to you. For the game that we watched on Monday, you know how there was 2 games on Monday, where there was the game on ESPN, and then there was the game on ABC. So the game on ABC and the game on ESPN were on at pretty much the same time, besides starting an hour earlier. So we could be seeing something like that in a imagine we possibly, I'm not saying that it is going to happen, but hypothetically, fantasy dreaming over here, what if we get multi-view? What if there's a way where we watch like Monday Night Raw and then we watch the football game, or we could watch Raw and NXT? You know, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways this can go. So that's what they mean by that. Soph was who? Who was fired? Tino, did you see this? Yes, I did see that. Yes, Liv Morgan and Carmella are still with the company. 2 more hours until. Okay, see that. That's what I talked about. That's what I talked about earlier. Roxanne Perez, Tiffany Stratton, Becky Lynch, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes. These people are not going to be released. Honestly, I don't want to make any type of predictions for anything, but we could possibly be seeing names like, you know, people that like from the NIL schools, like I mentioned earlier, or we could see somebody that we haven't seen on TV. And, you know, we saw him recently leave NXT, and maybe that really did happen. Maybe we see, maybe the big superstars, somebody like Wes Lee. And I don't want to say that's going to happen, but it possibly could happen. But I do not see Roxanne Perez leaving the company. So, yes, that was a fake account. Don't believe everything you guys read on the internet. Stop reading everything you guys read. So I'm saying that it's a possibility. It's a possibility we could. Possibility. Not saying it's going to happen, but possible. Okay, Eric. Okay. I can't deal with you. Chris, did you get the job? Yes, Chris, did you get the job? Hey, we got Melinda in the house. What's up, Melinda? They have Nia Jax returned and end up releasing people. I did see somebody say this too. Everybody's like, so they could bring Nia Jax back, but they can't bring they everybody hates on Nia Jax. It's so funny. I just listen. Hey, what's up, Hawkins? Hey, it's guys, look, it's my dad. What's up, Dad? Hi, Dad. It's gonna be so funny. Going forward, guys, Botkins is my dad. Oh, it's next Tuesday. Where will Raw and NXT go? Honestly, maybe they just go to NBC. I mean, maybe that's what it is. Maybe Raw and NXT go to NBCU or whatever that is. I'm assuming that's 5, Channel 5 here in Chicago. I don't know what it is by you guys, wherever you guys all may be. But maybe it goes on like NBC with like Law and Order and like what else is on NBC? I can't even think right now. So possibly NBC, maybe like I would like it to go to like imagine if it went to like Spike or something where it could go to like being how it used to be. I don't know. Yes, the Peacock does still own the pay-per-views. Yes. Till WrestleMania 41, we could watch the pay-per-views. So we're good with that. Apparently, AEW is going to I hope so. Yes, they did do Emma dirty. They released her. They announced the Elimination Chamber being her hometown, and then she got released. That was awful. But if Braun gets released, maybe Jadis. If he gets released, that's the same thing, bro. I mean, maybe they do it in like a storyline, maybe, but he's really not going to get released. He said, "Yay." I hope so. Again, we'll just have to wait and see. Oh man! Oh god! Oh god! Eric's already fantasy booking matches. Eric, you're a funny guy. Hey Tina, what's the worst release of today so far? So for me, Shelton Benjamin and Dolph Ziggler. Shelton Benjamin, I've been watching him since I've been watching. Chris says I'm gonna miss Top Dollar. Oh, he's not. He said I'm not gonna miss Top Dollar. Damn. I'm surprised Braun didn't get released. 3-7. Okay, so it was 317. He might be a crown jewel. I mean, listen. Okay, Jadis. Jadis, stop trolling, bro, because somebody's going to punch you, Jadis. Somebody's going to beat you up, Jadis. Why ain't you going to miss? I really thought Elias was going to go. I mean, he very well might. Yes, my neck still does hurt. Yes. Yes, my neck does still hurt. It's a little better today, but it still hurts. Yes. Now we don't see. Yes, that is the big thing. We will now have to see how they figure out the North American Championship match at No Mercy next Saturday. We'll have to see that. I did forget. Madcap Moss, Riddick Moss. Yes, Madcap Moss. Yes. Rick Boogs. Yeah, I was missing Riddick Moss. But Rick Boogs also, yes. Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young is not expected to play against the Seattle Seahawks with a knee injury. So, is Seattle Seahawks defense available? We might have to do some breaking fantasy news here, guys. I got to go check if Seattle's available. Run, run, run. Oh, Seattle got picked up. Boo. Oh, boo. Let's see. In my other league. Let's go. Ali that's what I'm saying, Eric. I'm surprised about that because honestly, I'm very surprised about that. I did not expect that, especially with how he's finally was being used. But as you just said, possibly it was his choice. Possibly he said, I don't want to be here. He said, I want to move on. And if they're willing to give him his release, then, maybe he, it is what it is. Again, we can't, what are we going to do? We ain't going to change these guys' minds. They want to go somewhere else. It is what it is. And let's see them go somewhere else and let's see them go out there and possibly go out there and do their thing. So I think it possibly could be a very well thing. And it very well could be good. So we're just going to have to wait and just see how it really plays out and see just what happens. Honestly, I really think that's the thing. I think we really just have to wait and see how this happens and what is played out with this. Honestly, R-Truth is not released. Ali is the biggest name, not Dolph. Listen, I'm saying for me personally, and if you want to say the big name out of everybody, yes, it's Mustafa Ali. But I was saying for me personally, me, Mr. Guy over here, Mr. Guy, shenanigans. Ali for AEW. Maybe. I mean, he said, so you think Ali is going to defeat, you think Ali is going to defeat, guy. You think Ali is going to defeat MJF? Come on. Yeah, ABC, yes. So it's pretty much going to be like that. We're not going to assume. Yeah, I'm not assuming anybody. WWE. Okay, Chris, let's not. My job interview. Please relax. You just said we're not, and then you just start. He says Dominic Mysterio defends his North American champion against Dragon Lee on Raw, so he could not see the North American Championship match. Yes, so I said that. So I said, what if we possibly see, and what if we see Mustafa Ali, or not Ali, I'm sorry. What if we see Dragon Lee win and we don't see the championship match be at No Mercy? I think Dragon Lee winning would be great because, as you guys heard on NXT, he said, Dominic said, I'm scared of masked men because they remind me of my daddy. So, I mean, listen, I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great opportunity. I mean, listen, Dragon Lee, North American champion, I'm all about it. So, yeah. So that is, though, guys, all of the information that I had. I didn't even realize this episode has almost been in 50 minutes to an hour. I didn't realize. But I want to say thank you to all of you guys coming here, hanging out with me for a little bit, talking about all these craziness. I got to go and get ready for the Southside Boys, though. I got to go make sure Deech and Justin are going to be on the show. Make sure everybody's here, ready to go. But, guys, if there is any other big news being broken, if any huge names gets released on and for NXT, we will come here. I did speed run through those comments. I did. There was no game. There was nothing. Jadis, I read through all of them, bro. Every single one of them. There is 9 games left of the MLB season, yes. Can't even believe it, guys. 2 more weeks left of the Southside Boys. As I said last night, I'll be here for the playoffs. I don't know what Justin and Deech are doing. I'm going to ask them today. So we'll have to see what happens. So, as I said, guys, that's all the information that I have here for you guys today. As I said, if there is any other big news breaking, we will do another episode. And we will do it tonight at 7 o'clock, as I said, if there is any other big news. But we'll just have to see what happens and we'll just have to see what goes down in the next few hours. So, guys, sorry if your favorite superstars got released. It is what it is. We just got to hope for the best. And we just got to, just remember these people are people. And let's not be mean. They just lost their jobs. And let's just all wish them all the best of luck in the future. And thank you for everything and all of the entertainment that they've brought us. So, guys, that's all I have here for you today. For today's extra on the releases, SmackDown going off of Raw, off of Fox, going to USA, NBCU getting Saturday night main event, and everything else. So, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure you guys hit that like button if you have not yet. Also, make sure to go follow all the social medias on the ticker below. If you guys can see the ticker, make sure to go hit that like button if you have not yet. Also, become a member of the channel. Leave a super chat or two. All of that good stuff. Go check out Tino's Tom merchandise on bonfire.com if you have not yet. Go get yourself some merchandise, as we got a lot of it. Go check it out and go get some. You don't got to support the White Sox. Just support your boys and Tino. So, guys, do all that good stuff. But if you can't do any of that, I completely understand. But as I said, do these 3 things for me, and I appreciate it. It's free. It helps the channel. It helps the episode. And one day, one of these episodes got to explode, right? So make sure you hit that like button. You subscribe on the road to 2K. And lastly, guys, you turn that notification button on so you know when we go live in 2 short hours for episode number 27 of the Southside Boys. I'll see you guys all in a few hours. Make sure to turn that notification button on, and let's hope Deech and Justin show up. So get you guys some lunch, late lunch, early dinner, and then come back at 5 o'clock, and let's talk some MLB baseball, and let's talk and vent about those shitty Chicago White Sox.